Good afternoon, everyone. I am Sensei Kevlar. Hopefully, by now, you have started well on your way to becoming a profitable trader. This is something that requires a very specific mindset, and that mindset is one towards discipline. The discipline is one of strategizing, and the strategizing leads to planning. That planning has led us down a road. By going back to fundamentals, we have devised a plan based upon a strategy that requires a mindset that has us recognizing the value of a no loss strategy. We're planning to never lose. That's why we call it a no loss strategy. And we do that by making sure that our portfolio can handle anything that we want to do. We can position ourselves in the market such that we can take advantage of any motion in the ocean. And this is what today's talk is about, is how to think about motions in the ocean. Because this is one of the classic metaphors that people always talk about when they talk about markets and market motions and and how to take advantage of them, is they talk about the whales. And if you noticed that when you signed up, you were signing up to become a whale. Now, can you do this when your portfolio is tiny? Everybody thinks the answer is no, and I'm going to tell you that they're wrong. But it starts with a difference in mindset. My solution is that if you think like a whale, you will act like a whale. And if you act like a whale, eventually you will become one. The path to profitability starts with one profitable trade, one profitable trade, and this leads to 1 million profitable trades. And if each one of those profitable trades is only making you $1, then you have just made yourself $1 million. Think through that very carefully as we talk more about how to plan and think like a whale. The problem is that the metaphors that we use aren't very helpful. When we talk about whales, it doesn't actually tell us what it is that we're trying to accomplish here. And that's why I spend a lot of time on mindset. I spend a lot of time on the metaphors. I spend a lot of time thinking about what it is we're really talking about and coming up with the proper ways to visualize it. So I'm going to start with the classic metaphors, and then I'm going to help you develop a new set of metaphors. And in doing so, we're going to change our vocabulary, and that's going to lead to a new mindset. And a new mindset will lead to strategizing, and strategizing will lead to planning. And that's what today's lesson will be. In the traditional model, the way that this works is you have the ocean, and the ocean is a metaphor for the market. And what people do is they put their money into the ocean. They get into the ocean and they put their money in, and they try and swim around and eat smaller opportunities and take advantage of them, and eventually they're trying to grow to become a whale. They think that if they put their money in and they get lucky, or they, put some smarts behind it, that they can increase their opportunities in order to become profitable. And this is what leads to the minnow. The minnow, if we could get to next slide. The minnow is just that. He's a small guy in the ocean. He's swimming around and he's following trends. A minnow is a trend trader. And the way trend traders work is they follow their emotion. They see a change in the market and they try and take opportunities in that market direction. The problem is that minnows, they get turned against. They don't know how to swim against the tide. They're basically forced to follow the motions of the ocean and move within those parameters. This means that if the market goes up for a minnow, the minnow is profitable. But if the market goes down for a minnow, the minnow sells at a loss. And this is a classic, how the larger traders make a lot of their profits is on the back of these little guys who really don't understand what they're doing in the market, and they're just trying to take advantage of these opportunities, and they're really selling at a lot of losses a lot of the time. And all the time that you see the markets going down and people are panicking and talking about how they're losing their money, it's because they're minnows. They don't have a plan for profitability. They don't have they don't have a deeper understanding of the nature of the ocean and how to be profitable in it. Of course, we all know that minnows get eaten by sharks. Sharks are hardier in the ocean, but ultimately, they're still trend traders. The difference between a minnow and a shark is when a position goes down against a shark and he becomes unprofitable, he's fine with waiting. He's absolutely good with, buying in some more in order to bring his position point down, waiting the long game, playing it out 6 months, seeing it come back in 2 years, whatever it is it takes, and he eats minnows lunch all day long. He absolutely can be profitable long term. The problem is that sharks are not profitable short term a lot of the time. A lot of the time, they're eating their losses along with their profits, and they're having to measure one against the other. They're doing this a lot. I bet you know a lot of traders who did this, or you might have done this yourself. They use something called stop losses, where when the market comes down against them, they take their losses and they move on. And this is again because they don't have a plan for profitability long term. Now, there is a third class of trader in the market. And if you've paid attention so far, I haven't talked about portfolio size. What I've talked about is mindset. Mindset is the difference between a shark and a minnow. And mindset is also the difference between a shark, a minnow, and a whale. And this is what I'm going to teach you. You see, within the ocean, these people are using different mindsets. The minnow is focusing on trends. He's looking for opportunities that he can take advantage of. He wants to get in and he's getting pushed around by the sharks and the whales. And he really doesn't have a clear understanding of why this is happening. He just knows he just knows that this is happening, and it's absolute. And sometimes he gets lucky, and sometimes he doesn't. The shark has a longer term understanding of this. And they're looking for minnows. They're looking for opportunities. They're looking for ways to take advantage of this. The whale has no such concern. They barely notice the minnows, and they really couldn't care that much about the sharks. This is not what a whale is focused on. They are not focused on other opportunities. They are focused on three things: the foam, the rock, and the wave. Okay. Each of these embodies an important nature within the ocean, and each of these is advantageous to the whale when he properly understands their nature and includes them into his planning. And so it is this mindset that we must focus on in order to achieve the next level of planning. The nature of the foam on the sea is it becomes light, it moves easily, it's agile. It takes its time, it takes the form of rapid motions. It moves consistently. The 50-50 is the beginning of the nature of foam. It isn't until we position ourselves in the market for any directional motion, up or down, any amount, that we can become like the foam, that we can embrace the nature of the foam. So the 50-50 becomes our starting strategy. The problem with the 50-50 is that the markets in the motion are great. The waves are huge. And so we need a different strategy to not have us constantly moving in and out of profitable and unprofitable positions. And so we take on the nature of the rock. The nature of the rock is the opposite of the foam. Whereas the foam moves with the market and is ready for agility, the rock is unmoved by the sea. The rock does not chase the market around. He waits for the market to come to him. And the market very, 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 very slowly erodes his position. This is a key understanding, is he wants his position to become eroded over time and become part of the sea and get worn down. He does not chase the market, he waits for the market to come to him or her. He waits for the market to arrive and wear him down, rather than chasing the market and just going to the extreme the first opportunity he has. Which brings us to the nature of the wave. The nature of the wave is that both the foam and the rock will happen cyclically. It will happen in cycles. It will consistently be an ebb and a flow of give and take, both on the macro and on the micro. On the micro, the sand and the foam will carry new pieces away and bring in new opportunities. On the macro, the rock will allow his position to be eroded away over time and become a part of the sea. And in this way, as the sea rises or falls, he will not be subject to its rapid motions. He will be ready to plan long term as well as short term. This is a critical understanding that I need you to think very carefully on as I embark upon the next part of our strategizing. Because it is with this mindset that I tell you that simply going 50-50 in the market isn't sufficient. We need to think through this more. Let's take an example. I'm going to pull up a chart right now, and we're going to pull over the quantum, because I just absolutely happen to really like what quantum is doing for me right now. Let's get rid of some of these indicators that we're not using. Let's get rid of this, and we're going to get rid of all the technical analysis that we've done. And we're going to go back to basics again. We're going to find our resistance and our support lines. And then we're going to look at our strategy one more time. And we're going to see what we might do differently to take on the nature of the whales. I think there's probably one right here that I can pick out. And maybe we agree that there's one right here. I think that's probably enough. Given a chart that looks nothing more than this, this is all the technical analysis that we're going to do. Can we plan for profitability in a market like this? Well, absolutely. Let's say, let me just zoom this out a little more, zoom this in a little more. Let's say that we are here in the market in the upper right-hand corner. Can we plan to buy right here and be profitable down here? Yes, we can. The 50-50 is the start of that. But if we were to go 50-50 right here in the market, would this really be the most advantageous way to take advantage of this opportunity? Not necessarily. I don't necessarily want to be holding a very large position this whole way down. What I want to do is I want to start with a light position. I want to start being the foam. And then as the market wears me down, I want to allow it to wear down my position. So, what I'm talking about is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to buy, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to double or triple or 4x up. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to double or triple or 4x up. And again here and again here. If I know that this is what I'm going to do, then I can create a schedule that says that this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this on this date, and this on this date, and this on this date, and this date will become when the market arrives. I will start out as the foam, and I will be the rock, and I will let the market come down to me. But rather than just jump into the market, I'm going to allow the market to wear away at my position. So let's say that I have scheduled I'm starting here, and I've scheduled 4x here, and I've scheduled 4x here, and I've scheduled 4x here, and I've scheduled a 5x here, okay? We know how much buying we're going to do at each of these levels. If we say that rather than come down and be the shark who tries to take advantage of this opportunity, we are going to be the rock, what we're going to say is we're going to stretch that buying out over a time frame. On this day, we're going to buy, if we're going to buy a total of 5 positions right here, then we're going to buy 1 position on this day, 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 and 1 position on this day. And this is the schedule that we will allow ourselves, and we will schedule for this buying strategy. Okay? Well, what happens when we get the first and the second buy, but then the third, fourth, and fifth buy don't occur? Now, we can do that third, fourth, and fifth buy at an even better price. And so, not only do we have this schedule, but we also know this original schedule. And when the plan changes, whatever portion of this schedule did not occur, we can now execute that schedule at a better price while executing this schedule as well. The schedule doesn't need to change. What does need to change is as the plan changes, as the dates arrive at different times, what we need to be able to do is we need to be able to schedule each of these, and now we have better prices, okay? So look at what's happening here, is as each of these schedules gets eroded away, we can overlap them too. We're doing the buy for this level, and the buy for this level, and the buy for this level on this day. And we're tripling up our schedule because our schedule is now behind. We should have been buying up here and buying up here. We're now behind on our buy schedule. It's time to triple up our buy schedule. 1, 2, 3 buys. 1, 2, 3 buys. 1, 2, 3 buys. 1, 2, 3 buys. 1, 2 buys. 1, 2 buys. 1, 2 buys. I'm sorry, 1 buy, 1 buy. And that's our schedule. At this point, we have reached our schedule. Except before we reached our schedule, the market moved on us again. So we got rid of this one. We were able to successfully kill off this schedule. Maybe we've got a small portion of this one remaining, and we need to bring it down. And we have about half of this one remaining, and we need to bring it down. This is the half that didn't occur over here. And now we have this schedule to execute along with this one, along with our schedule down here for this level that we have scheduled. What this means is that as the market comes down, we are not being greedy and taking advantage of the opportunities the very second they present themselves. Instead, we're allowing ourselves to take some advantage, knowing that there could be a better advantage later. This is the nature of the rock. Why take the advantage now if we can allow the market to wear us down and become more advantageous later? Let's do this on a longer term. Let's say that we are at 2,700 and we believe that Bitcoin can go to 5,000. Can we schedule our distribution such that we are selling out our coins on a schedule that has us taking us out to sometime, if we believe it's going to happen in September, sometime maybe before September? Can we make our schedule such that our schedule has us moving in increments that are half the size of our normal market motions? Yes, we can, if we can plan ahead and measure our market motions. This is the nature of the whale, and this is what he is doing to make waves. If you want to think like a whale, then the way to achieve this is to operate like one, even when we're using very, very, very small portfolios. Because the whale will ensure that the waves are always working in his favor. This is going to be potentially a long wave down. If he had planned accordingly with his schedule, could he be taking some profit here? Yes. Let's see how that works. As he slowly buys down the market, as his position slowly becomes more, his profit line slowly becomes more and more eroded, as the nature of the rock is, as he allows the ocean to slowly, as he buys down and buys down and buys down and buys down, and he slowly brings his profit line down and down and down and down, he becomes profitable. So when we scheduled our 50-50, we scheduled our 50-50 such that we would become 80% US dollar and 20% Tether, or 20% Bitcoin at this point. That was our schedule. We said we're going to sell this much here, and 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 by the time I reach my goal of 5,000, because that's where I think the market can go to, and that's where everybody's saying the market is going to go to, then I can schedule appropriately for my portfolio to maximize my opportunities, even if the market never makes it. Let's say it turned around here and came back down like I predicted it could have. I also predicted it could have done this, and boy was I right. These are predictions, and well, I just don't know what to say other than they were right. Right? These are guesses. This was a guess. Both of them could have occurred. One did. My schedule would have made me profitable no matter what happened in the market. Because if I had come up and started executing on this schedule and I had drugged my profit line far enough up behind me, I could have been profitable here and bought them all back cheaper and scheduled more distribution for here, because I'm going to be distributing and selling over a schedule. Selling over a schedule is called distribution. And then once I reach this point, I can schedule my allocation, how much buying I want to do, and over what time frames I want to do them at each level. This is how whales operate. And this is how you end up with accumulation patterns, because they're sitting there executing their schedules, accumulating, buying down their profit line, accumulating. And they're buying and buying and buying and buying and buying and buying and buying. And then they do a really quick, massive buy, and then they can start selling at a profit. Well, you don't need to be doing the massive buying yourself. The whales will already do that for you. All you need to be doing is swimming with the whales. And if you understand that this is what the whales are going to be doing, then you can be doing it yourself ahead of their schedule. And this is the really key part, is staying ahead of the whale schedule will always make you profitable. Because the whales are always going to push this market around. There's always going to be waves in the ocean. What you want to do is you want to position yourself to maximize your opportunities to take advantage of this. If you really do believe that the market top is here, and you're really going for a 50-50, you're not going to do a 50-50 here. You're going to start with an 80-20 if you believe this is the market top, and you're going to schedule your allocation down to this line here. Maybe you believe that it really is going to bounce off the 3,500 line. Then you schedule your allocation down to the 3,500 line to reach your 50-50 mark. Why 50-50? Because then you're ready to do it again with the whales. Why 50-50? Because what if it goes against you more? If you're 80-20, schedule for 50-50. Schedule your allocation over time. And then when that allocation fails to happen, don't panic. Schedule again. Double up your scheduling. This is the heart of what whales do. They absolutely think in terms of long-term scheduling. This is my distribution schedule. This is my allocation schedule. They can do this on the long term, and they can absolutely do it on the short term too. Here we are doing it on the short term. Could I have allocated small quick buys on top of my long slow I'm sorry, small quick sells on top of my long slow sells? Absolutely. Could I have allocated small quick buys on top of my long sells slows? Absolutely. How are we going to automate this? Are we going to automate this on a long plan? Are we going to automate this on a short plan? How do you want to automate this? On what schedule, on what time frame do you want to operate on? Well, then no matter what the market does, it doesn't matter anymore what the market does. Say you want to schedule your portfolio, for a 60-40 and a 50-50 and a 40-60. 60-40, 50-50, 40-60. You just recognize 10% risk on either side of this massive motion. You just brought your entire risk schedule down to 10% of your portfolio. That's how a whale thinks. He thinks in terms of a risk schedule, in terms of a profit schedule, risk and profit, accumulation and distribution over a time frame. This is the heart of automation. Is we're not going to actually sit here and do this. We're not going to actually sit here every day and go buy one position, buy one position, buy one position, buy one position. Look at what happened. If, according to our schedule, this allocation was only going to occur when we came down, and this distribution was only going to occur when we came up, well, could we have scheduled this with a robot? Yeah, we absolutely could have. Could we have brought in additional indicators that said maybe if our RSI isn't oversold, then we push out our allocation schedule further? And we don't buy back in right here, and we buy back in here when we wait for the RSI to kick in our schedule? This is how automation works for whales. Whales do not sit here and try and predict the buys and sells. They schedule them. When the market comes here, I will be a rock, and I will be prepared for the market to come and erode me away. And when the market comes here, I will be a rock, and I will be prepared for the market to come and erode me away. And when I am here, I am foam. I am moving with the market. And when the whales do this over and over and over again, they make the waves. This is the foam, the rock, and the waves. If you want to be a whale, you must be like the foam, the rock. And then you can move with the waves. Then you can allow the waves to take you through 1 million profitable trades. And if you make each one of those 1 million profitable trades make you exactly $1 of profit, that's all the more that you need to target. Schedule $1 of profit. $1 of profit. $1 of profit. Now, schedule that out over 1 million seconds. Suddenly you're a millionaire in 1 million seconds. Well, if you don't have 1 million seconds to wait, do better planning. So, what does better planning look like? Now that we have understood the nature of the 50-50, and that the 50-50 really isn't a 50-50, it's an 80-20 and a 20-80, it's a 60-40 and a 40-60 with a 50-50 in the middle of our market. Can we plan even better? What we can do is when we find these opportunities, when we make our money, here we did distribution, here we did allocation, and here we did distribution at a profit, and more distribution at a profit, and more distribution at a profit, and here we're able to do a little bit of allocation in order to realize distribution at a profit, and we realize our schedule. At this point, our schedule shifts from being primarily one of distribution to primarily one of allocation, with a little bit of distribution right up here. And this is the point. If I come down here and I'm now 20 positions deep, and I come up here and I'm profitable, how much profit have I made? Have I made one position worth of profit? Have I made two positions worth of profit? However much profit I've made, if I'm come down here and then I make two positions worth of profit, one position worth of profit, if I had 20 down here, I'm going to sell 19 up here. I'm going to hold on to that last one as a trophy. Why? Because it cost me nothing. I bought that trophy using my profits. What I'm talking about is I'm talking about executing a no loss, no profit strategy. What I'm doing is every bit of profit that I am making, I'm putting back into compounding my assets, back into compounding my portfolio. I'm taking a trophy and I'm moving on. I'm resetting back to zero with my strategy, and I'm moving on, and I'm going on to continue my schedule. And when the market comes back down here, or when the market goes up here, I'm going to be continuing my distribution schedule because I'm profitable above this line because I've been buying down the market on my allocation strategy, on my allocation schedule. How does this play into here? Can we put dates next to this? That during this time frame, this is how much I will buy, and then we just divide the number of buys over that time frame and space them out evenly? Yes. Can we make automation increase that schedule based upon indicators and decrease that schedule based upon indicators? Yes. There's absolutely all the planning in the world that we can do that would make us incredibly profitable, just like a whale. The key is in the plan. If we don't have the plan for profitability, we can't schedule that plan. Scheduling is what makes us more profitable. And then, once we realize that we're able to create trophies for ourselves at zero cost, let's come back to the quantum opportunity. No, let's do a neo opportunity. Let's say that you were doing this back when neo was still uncool, it was still underground, it was still for hipsters, right? Let's say that you were doing it here. Let's say that you did this and you created one trophy opportunity, and you created one trophy opportunity, and then you created a couple more trophy opportunities. Well, now you've got some neo, and you've basically made it for free for yourself. You've not made any profit in the market, but you're stacking your neo. More neo trophies, more neo trophies, more neo trophies. Well, what just happened to all of your trophies? Your trophies just shot up from 0.003 to 0.01. All of your trophies that you had been accumulating trophies, it's time to distribute your trophies. These all now become more opportunity on the upside for you. These all become part of your new schedule. Is when we go 50, 60%, 70% up in the market, this is where we make our money. We do not try and make our money here. Absolutely not. We do not try and make our money on this. We use micro positioning to get us into these opportunities and get us out really quickly and build trophies over and over and over again. Micro positioning, small opportunities built up over time that you can very, 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 very easily double up on, triple up on, quadruple up on, and then take your trophy. Double up, triple up, quadruple up, 4x, 10x, 20x, 50x up on, because they're micro positionings, so 50xing up on a micro position with a very large portfolio, well, then you can just double up on that later. But you can only do that in your planning if you have the 3, 4, 5x number per line. If this is, we're gonna double x, we're gonna 50x up here, and we're gonna 2x up and then 2x up, right? Can we plan for profitability and maximize our opportunities? Can we do a 4x up or a 3x up and a 5x up and a 6x up? Can we maximize our trophy taking opportunities on micro position sizing, 0.001 BTC, one position, and slowly build up our trophies and then turn those trophies into 600 percenters, 1,000 percenters, 2,000 percenters, 5,000 percenters. This is how whales get rich. They do not chase opportunities. This is not an opportunity worth chasing. This is an opportunity worth micromanaging. In order to build your portfolio, build up your trophies, build up your assets. And when those assets turn you into a 600 percenter, well, pop that champagne because you finally became a whale. This is how you become a whale with a very, very, very small portfolio. Now, what coins are we going to do this on? Well, not necessarily the top 10 market cap. This is where when you start out, you can absolutely layer quickly into the top 10 market cap. But on some of these other ones, like, down here, Quantum, List, Stratus, Wave, Zcash, these are opportunities to layer in. We're going to layer in by starting with buying one position. We're not going to do a 50-50 on this chart. Back here. Or back here. Okay? When this happens, and then this happens, and we're noticing a trend, well, it's time to buy one position. Come up here, sell it. Come back down here, buy one position. Come up here, sell it. Come back down here, sell it right here, right? Well, here's the opportunity to sell your trophy. If you bought one position here and you sold one position here and you had a trophy from back here earlier in the market, here's your opportunity to sell one position, sell your trophy. Schedule. If you had scheduled for this, you could have planned well in advance. You would have known exactly what distribution schedule you would be on because you would have known exactly where you would have been in the market prior to now, according to your schedule. And then as the market conditions change, you can update your schedule. Modify the schedule. Plan for why the schedule will change. What changes the schedule? What causes us to increase our buying activities early? What causes us to push our buying activities out? Does bad news cause us to push our buying activities out in the hopes that we can get a lower price later? Yeah. Does good news cause us to push our schedule If this is our schedule and then good news happens, are we going to increase our schedule and be doing more buys in a shorter amount of time? Yeah, we're going to increase our allocation. If bad news happens and we're in distribution and we're doing a distribution schedule and then bad news happens and the market is obviously turning around on us, we're selling out trophies at 600%. Do we start targeting 550% with that schedule? Yeah, we do. Why? Because the market's coming down on us. Scheduling is the next step of the strategy. Unless you are sitting here and putting dates next to your plan, you don't have a plan like a whale. You have a plan like a shark. That is the difference between the whale and the shark. This is what won't make you profitable long term, is your trophies. Not these little tiny micro position opportunities. Make the most of these, absolutely, but build your trophies. Then sell your trophies, build more trophies. Then sell your trophies, build more trophies. Then sell your trophies, build more trophies. Now, I've talked about what you do with your trophies besides just building more trophies with them. Every week, I take 50% of my profits out of the exchange and I diversify them. I stake them. I buy hashing contracts with them. I find other opportunities for these trophies to make me money. I'm never, ever, ever executing a strategy for profit or for loss. I'm executing the strategy 100% for trophies. Whatever profit I make in this motion right here, that is how much less selling I'm going to do when I reach this level, which allows me to schedule that sell up here. Scheduling, trophies, allocation, distribution. Start using these vocabulary words in your planning. Start using this thinking in your planning. And this will cause you to achieve the mindset of the whale and understand the true nature of becoming rich and profitable in a market by making 1 million very, very small profitable trades and making all of them profitable. Plan the trade and trade that plan on your schedule. And when the schedule needs to change, plan for that. The more that you do that, the more profitable you will become. And eventually, this will lead you down the path of a master trader. And that is the way of the trader. Thank you so much for your time.